And wide week update, and we are pivoting off yesterday's Herbert-centered build and bringing the Rams core back to the front with Matthew Stafford plus Puka Nakua, while keeping Josh Jacobs as the RB anchor and reshaping tight end, flex, and defense for ownership and matchup leverage. At quarterback, we are moving from Justin Herbert back to Matthew Stafford at 6,400 with a dash rank of 100, projected 17 at only 4.7% owned against the Ravens, who have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent. Rank 32, why the change two edges popped since yesterday. First, Stafford's projection sits below his season average of 21 fantasy points per game, and projections are reliable here because he has well over 3 starts, so we are buying a discount on expectation. With recent form of 30, 30, and 15-second, the news cycle is supportive, despite Week 5 negativity. Essentially, Sports Week 6 QB rankings highlighted Stafford's rise, and their Ravens versus Rams preview framed John Harbaugh versus Matthew Stafford as a key storyline, while another note mentioned his rookie tight end Terrence Ferguson logging his first NFL catch from Stafford, which signals the weapon set is expanding low ownership. The absolute worst defense overall on the other side, and correlation with our top wideout, makes this the sharper spend than Herbert today. Our value quarterback remains Dylan Gabriel at 4,400 with a dash rank of 100, projected 15, around 3.3% owned against the Steelers, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 26. No change from yesterday because the why did not change. Projections are less reliable with fewer than 3 starts, but the role and the news are clear. Cleveland benched Joe Flacco for Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders was named QB2 for this matchup, and the Week 6 QB rankings piece also noted Gabriel's rise. He posted 16 fantasy points in his last outing, and this salary preserves a 3-times path for tournaments. Running back, no change. We stay on Josh Jacobs at 7,300 with a dash rank of 100. Projected 18, around 24.1% owned against the Bengals, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 30. Why keep him role and environment are elite for the price. He averages 18 fantasy points per game, with a spike of 32 one game ago and 12 and 14 before that. And multiple reports this offseason underscored that Green Bay expects him to play a critical role in 2025, which aligns with the touch and touchdown equity we are buying. Here, wide receiver, we are elevating Puka Nakua at 8,700 with a dash rank of 100, projected 25, about 20.3% owned against the Ravens, who have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent, rank 32. Why the move up? We are stacking Stafford with his alpha to maximize the game environment and exploit weak overall defense. Puka's season context is elite at 29 fantasy points per game, and he just posted 25, 39, and 26 in his last 3 DFS millionaire Mike McClure's. Week 6 advice piece highlighted top Sunday building blocks, and Puka profiles as exactly that in this spot. Tight end, we are moving off Tucker Kraft and onto Jake Ferguson at 5,300. With a dash rank of 100, projected 14, about 6.3% owned against the Panthers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall by opponent, rank 11. Why the change? We gain ceiling at modest ownership with strong, recent form of 24, 17, and 21, alongside a 17-point season average, and the news continues to paint him as the Cowboys' go-to tight end this year. We also like that he offers standalone access to a productive red zone role in a game that should keep Dallas passing enough to sustain tight end volume. Flex, we are pivoting from Kyron Williams to Ashton Jeanty at 6,900 with a dash rank of 100, projected 17, about 17.3% owned against the Titans, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 24. Why the switch ownership balance, salary flexibility, and volatile ceiling? Ginty's last 3 of 16, 38, and 6 is exactly the kind of range that wins tournaments when the matchup softens, and the coverage has been bullish. Marshawn Lynch discussed the rookie's talent in an Essentially Sports interview, and the Sportsline machine learning model recently listed Ginty among anytime TD candidates. We still get access to ceiling while avoiding overexposure to one game. Defense. We are moving off the Colts and onto the Packers at 3,700 with a dash rank of 100, projected 8, around 7.8% owned against the Bengals, who have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent, rank 32. Why the change? We are leaning into pressure, upside at modest ownership, with recent outputs of -3, 8, and 10, and a price that fits Stafford plus a premium WR without sacrificing defensive ceiling. Quick value pool to round out builds, quarterback punt, remains Dylan Gabriel for the reasons above. Running back salary saver stays Trevor Etienne at 4,300 with a dash rank of 100, projected 6, around 1% owned against the Cowboys, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 31 thin tournament punt. But if his touch count ticks up, the price can pay off. Wide receiver value pivots to Xavier Legette at 3,900 with a dash rank of 100, projected 7, about 2.2% owned against the Cowboys, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 31. He just posted 11 last game, and he works as a cheap bringback on Dallas stacks. Tight end punt is Luke Musgrave at 2,500 with a dash rank of 32, projected 3, likely unowned against the Bengals, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent. Rank 30 pure salary relief with correlation to Jacobs if you mini-stack Packers. Flex Flyer is Tutu Atwell at 3,500 with a dash rank of 57. Projected 4, near 0% owned against the Ravens, who have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent, rank 32. He is questionable, so treat him as a late swap leverage piece on Stafford stacks after confirming status. Recent 9, 16, and 0 shows boom-bust viability. Bargain defense is the Dolphins at 2,200 with a dash rank of 30. Projected 5, about 10.2% owned against the Chargers, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent, rank 20. This is a price play to free salary on Stafford double stacks, if you need it. To close the loop with yesterday's video, we pivoted from Herbert to Stafford to exploit low ownership in a spot against the absolute worst defense, overall backed by supportive Week 6 news and stable recent production. We kept Josh Jacobs because the role, plus one of the worst defenses overall, remains a core ceiling path. We shifted from Tucker Kraft to Jake Ferguson for ceiling at modest ownership in a neutral overall matchup. We moved flex from Kyron Williams to Ashton Ginty for tournament leverage, salary flexibility, and a strong matchup against one of the worst defenses overall. And we swapped the Colts defense for the Packers to align salary and ceiling with our core stack. Drop your favorite sub, 5% owned one-off, in the comments, and we will pressure test it in the Friday final update.